All right, so get this. We're diving deep into Mark Passetti's 10 Commandments of Writing and Prompting, a Profitable Ebook Funnel. It sounds super sophisticated, right? But the thing is, so much of it applies to digital marketing as a whole, even if you never plan on actually writing an ebook.
Yeah, it's wild how much of it just translates across the board. Passetti's been around since like the early days of this stuff. We're talking 2005, way before AI was like writing ad copy for everyone. His perspective on how things have evolved is so
It
valuable.
really is. Okay, so let's jump into it. The first thing that really struck me is how he challenges that traditional view of ebooks. It's not just about putting together a basic how-to guide anymore. He sees ebooks as these dynamic tools for creating a whole experience.
Totally. He even talks about like adding video tutorials or interactive elements or even building a whole community around the ebook. It's not just the static document, it becomes a platform
Yeah.
for delivering real value and connecting with your audience on a much deeper level.
And that leads perfectly into his first commandment, efficacy, which basically boils down to it has to actually work. No amount of marketing hype can replace a product that genuinely delivers on its promises.
Mhm.
It seems obvious, right? But how many times have you bought something online and it was all smoke and mirrors?
Oh, all the time. And I think that's even more important now with all the AI stuff. It's so easy to create flashy content that's kind of hollow. Passetti's reminding us to like step back and focus on creating something truly valuable, something that solves a real problem for our audience.
And then he goes into positioning, which is all about understanding your audience's needs and meeting them where they are. He talks about entering conversations at peak points, meaning you need to be present where your target audience is already actively looking for solutions.
Yeah, and it's not just about being in the right place, it's also about speaking the right language. You need to understand your audience's pain points, their motivations, their aspirations, and then frame your message in a way that resonates with them.
He even uses this analogy of dating to illustrate the point. It's like you wouldn't use the same pickup line on everyone you meet, right? The same principle applies to marketing. You need to tailor your approach to the specific audience you're trying to reach.
It's about building that connection, building trust, and ultimately showing your audience that you understand their needs better than anyone else. That's how you stand out. That's how you turn a simple ebook into a powerful tool for growth.
Which brings us to story. Passetti's huge on this. He really emphasizes how stories are the most powerful way to connect with your audience on an emotional level. It's not just about spitting out facts and figures.
Yeah.
It's about weaving a narrative that captures their imagination and makes them feel something.
It's true. Think about some of the most successful brands out there. They all have a great story. They tap into our emotions, our desires, our values. That's how they build a loyal following. It's not just about logic, it's about creating an experience.
And that experience is key to the next commandment, UX, or user experience. Even the most brilliant information can fall flat if it's presented poorly. Passetti is really big on A/B testing, which is basically trying out different variations to see what works best for your specific audience.
It's like that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That's so true online where you have a few seconds to capture someone's attention. A well-designed ebook website landing page. It can make all the difference.
It's about creating that smooth, enjoyable experience that keeps people engaged and coming back for more. Think about how frustrating it is when you land on a website that's clunky and confusing and slow to load. You just click away and find something better, right?
And in the digital world, better is always just a click away. So you have to be constantly thinking about how to optimize that user experience, from the moment someone first encounters your brand all the way to the point where they become a loyal customer.
Okay, so let's talk about compliance. Now, this one might sound a bit dry, but Passetti actually frames it as a strategic advantage. He says that understanding and leveraging compliance can lead to infinite scalability. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Right. It's about playing the long game. By following the rules and building your business on a solid foundation, you avoid so many risks and headaches down the road. It's just much easier to scale when you're not constantly putting out fires or dealing with legal issues.
It's like building a house on a strong foundation versus one built on sand. You want something that can withstand the storms and last for years to come. And in the digital world, things change so fast that you need to be adaptable and resilient.
Absolutely. And compliance plays a key role in that. It helps you build trust with your audience, establish credibility, and ultimately position yourself as a reliable and trustworthy source in your niche. It's like a form of risk management that allows you to focus on growth and innovation without worrying about getting tripped up by legal issues.
Now let's break down the ebook itself. Commandment number 6 is elementing. This is where Passetti gets into the nuts and bolts of structuring an ebook for maximum impact. He's basically saying, don't just throw a bunch of information together and hope for the best. He wants you to strategically break down the ebook into its core components.
He talks about identifying the mechanism, the deeper core, and the story. These are the elements that make your ebook unique and compelling. By understanding how these elements work together, you can craft an experience that really resonates deeply with your audience and achieves your desired outcome.
It's like reverse engineering success. You're figuring out what makes a great ebook tick and then applying those principles to your own creation.
It's a fascinating way to approach ebook creation, and I think it applies to content creation in general. We
Right.
can all benefit from thinking more strategically about how we structure our content, how we deliver our message, and how we create an experience that keeps people coming back for more.
So you've got this well-structured ebook that's delivering real value. What's next? Passetti says it's time to leverage it. He's all about squeezing every drop of value out of your ebook by finding creative ways to repurpose and monetize the content.
He even gives the example of a dating ebook that includes binaural beats as a bonus. Now, that might sound a bit out there, but it's a great example of how you can add unexpected value and create a more immersive experience. Plus, those extra features can justify a higher price point.
It's about thinking outside the box and finding ways to make your ebook more than just a one-time purchase. You can turn it into a platform offering additional resources, templates, coaching calls, or even community access.
And each of those elements can become its own revenue stream, allowing you to build a more sustainable and scalable business around your core product.
Then Passetti challenges this idea of like a one-dimensional ebook with his exponential commandment. He's saying you need to create multiple entry points into your funnel, targeting different segments of your audience with hyper-specific messaging.
It's like instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you're creating a more targeted and personalized experience for each segment of your audience. You're tailoring your messaging to their specific needs and desires, which leads to higher conversion rates and a more engaged customer base.
And this is where his deep understanding of ad platforms and algorithms comes into play. He's a big proponent of training the pixel, essentially feeding the right data to platforms like Facebook to make sure your ads stay fresh and engaging and avoid what he calls creative fatigue. It's like imagine trying to eat the same meal every single day. Eventually you'd get tired of it, right? The same principle applies to advertising.
You need to keep things interesting, test different approaches, and constantly refine your strategy to stay ahead of the curve. And that's where data comes in. By analyzing user behavior and tracking campaign performance, you can make data-driven decisions that maximize your reach and impact.
But what about after the initial sale? We all know the frustration of customers dropping off after that first purchase. That's where churn comes in. Passetti argues that offering ongoing value is key to keeping customers engaged and reducing churn. He's talking about building a relationship, not just making a transaction.
This is where things get really interesting. Instead of just selling an ebook and calling it a day, you're creating an ongoing experience that keeps your audience coming back for more. Think about Netflix or Spotify. They're constantly adding new content features and updates to keep people engaged and subscribed. You can apply the same principles to your ebook business.
It's about creating a community, fostering a sense of belonging, and providing so much value that people would never dream of canceling their subscription or disengaging from your brand. In a way, you're building a movement around your ebook, a tribe of loyal followers who believe in your vision and are eager to support your work.
And that's ultimately what sets successful ebook entrepreneurs apart from the rest. They understand that it's not just about selling a product, it's about building a brand, a community, a legacy. And that takes vision strategy and a deep commitment to serving your audience.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. One thing is clear to care. Passetti's vision for ebook marketing in 2025 is about so much more than just selling books. It's about building a platform, creating an experience, and fostering a community that extends far beyond the pages of the ebook itself.
And I think that's what makes his approach so compelling. It's not just about making a quick buck. It's about creating something meaningful, something that makes a real difference in the lives of your audience.
He even compares the ebook to a machine that can generate leads and customers on autopilot. It's a powerful image that captures the potential of this approach. But let's be real, building this kind of machine takes work dedication and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long-term strategy that requires you to think differently about your business, your audience, and your role as a creator. But the rewards can be incredible if you're willing to put in the effort.
All right, we're about halfway through Passetti's 10 Commandments. Let's take a breath and pick up the conversation in part 2, where we'll dive into how to create a movement, build a powerful brand, and ultimately write your name into the market's DNA.
You know, it's funny because when you think about an ebook, it's not really a machine, is it? But that's kind of how Passetti talks about it. It's like this dynamic system that can actually work for you,
Yeah.
even while you sleep.
I know, it's so cool, right? He's really hitting on this idea of creating a sustainable business, one that doesn't require you to be constantly like hustling and grinding.
Totally. And it kind of ties into his next commandment, which is Pixel. It's all about data, harnessing the power of data to refine your marketing and reach new audiences.
This is where his experience really shines. Like you can tell he's been in the trenches. He understands how these algorithms work, how to leverage platforms like Facebook to really maximize your reach.
Yeah, it's not just about throwing money at ads. It's about understanding how to target the right people with the right message at the right time. It's about precision.
He talks about avoiding creative fatigue, which is basically like, you know, you can't just show people the same ad over and over again. They're going to tune it out. Think of it like working out. You can't just do the same exercises every day and expect to see results.
Right. You need to mix things up, challenge your muscles, keep your body guessing. It's the same with marketing. You got to constantly experiment and adapt to stay ahead of the curve.
Which brings us to this really interesting idea he talks about. The ebook as a catalyst for a movement. It's like
Yeah.
it's more than just a product. It's this rallying point for like-minded people who share your passion and vision.
It is. Think about brands like Apple or Tesla. They've created movements around their products. It goes beyond just functionality. They've tapped into something deeper, something that resonates with people on an emotional level.
It's about creating that sense of belonging. A community of people who believe in what you believe in
Yeah.
and are excited to support your mission.
And that kind of loyalty is priceless. You can't buy that. It has to be earned through genuine connection and a shared sense of purpose.
And then Passetti takes this idea even further. With his next commandment, the ebook as a machine. He's envisioning the ebook as this self-sustaining system that generates trust and authority and momentum.
It's not just like a passive document sitting on a hard drive. It's an active force that's constantly working for you, even when you're not actively promoting it.
This is where it all starts to come together.
Yeah.
You have a high-quality product that solves a real problem, a clear understanding of your target audience, a compelling story that connects with them, and a system for delivering ongoing value and support.
And that system is powered by the machine, the ebook itself. It's the engine that drives everything. Generating leads, nurturing relationships, and ultimately turning readers into loyal customers and advocates.
But Passetti really stresses that building this kind of machine, it requires a solid foundation. And that foundation is built on compliance.
It might seem counterintuitive, but he sees compliance as the key to infinite scalability. By understanding and embracing the rules, you can avoid so many pitfalls that trip up other marketers.
It's about building your business on solid ground, so you can focus on growth and innovation without worrying about all the regulatory stuff.
Think of it like a skyscraper. You need a strong foundation to support all those floors. And the higher you want to build, the stronger that foundation needs to be.
So he's really challenging that traditional view of compliance as like a burden. He sees it as this strategic advantage that can unlock massive growth and sustainability.
And it ties back to his whole thing about trust and credibility. When you're operating ethically and transparently, it shows your audience that you're the real deal.
And that trust is essential for creating a movement, building a brand, and ultimately achieving that kind of impact that Passetti's talking about.
He really drives that point home with his final commandment. This isn't just about selling a book. This is about writing your name into the market's DNA.
Wow, that's powerful. What do you think he means by that?
I think he's talking about becoming the undeniable solution for your target market. It's about making your ebook and its funnel not just profitable, but unstoppable.
It's like establishing yourself as the go-to authority, the trusted expert, the voice that people turn to for guidance.
Exactly. It's about creating a legacy that extends beyond just the initial sale, a legacy that's built on value and impact and genuine connection with your audience.
Okay, so we've talked about building this machine, this incredible system for growth and impact, but it all starts with that initial spark of creation, the ebook itself.
Exactly. And that's where Passetti's first commandment, efficacy, comes full circle. Like your ebook has to actually work, it has to deliver on its promises and solve a real problem for your audience.
It can't just be like rehashed information that's already out there. You need to bring something new, a fresh perspective, a unique approach, or like a deeper level of insight.
And that's where your expertise and passion come in. What are you uniquely qualified to teach? Like, what problem are you burning to solve? When you tap into that core drive, your ebook becomes more than just a product. It becomes like a mission, a purpose, a calling.
And that sense of purpose fuels the whole system. You're not just selling an ebook, you're sharing a vision, building a community, creating a movement around something you truly believe in.
It's about making a difference in the world, one reader at a time. And when you approach your work with that level of intention, it shows, it resonates with your audience, it builds trust, and it ultimately leads to the kind of success that goes way beyond profits.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Mark Pissetti's 10 Commandments, what are some key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that ebook marketing in 2025 is about way more than just selling books. It's about building a platform, creating an experience, fostering a community that extends far beyond the pages of the ebook itself.
It's about leveraging the power of technology and data, creating a system that works for you, generating leads, nurturing relationships, and ultimately driving growth and impact.
And it all starts with a deep understanding of your audience, their needs, their desires, their pain points. Once you understand who you're serving, you can create an ebook that truly resonates with them, a story that captures their imagination, and a system that delivers ongoing value.
Pissetti paints such a compelling picture of what's possible when you approach ebook marketing with the right mindset. It's not just about making money, it's about making a difference. It's about building something bigger than yourself, something that leaves a lasting impact on the world.
And for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the constantly changing landscape of digital marketing, Passetti offers a roadmap, a set of guiding principles to help navigate the chaos and achieve remarkable results.
His 10 Commandments are more than just rules. They're a philosophy, a way of thinking about your business and your audience that can lead to unprecedented success and fulfillment.
And you know what's interesting? Passetti actually has 2 spots open in March to help businesses create their next ebook and funnel.
Oh, wow. So if you're feeling inspired and ready to take action, you know who to call. He seems incredibly passionate about helping others succeed.
Absolutely, and I think his willingness to share his knowledge and expertise is a testament to his belief in the power of this approach. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk.
So that's it for our deep dive into Mark Pissetti's 2025 ebook funnel commandments. Hopefully you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling fired up to apply these principles to your own projects.
Remember, it's not just about selling a book, it's about creating a system for long-term growth, building a movement, and ultimately writing your name into the market's DNA.
What opportunities do you see to leverage the power of the ebook beyond just information delivery? How could you create an experience that truly resonates with your audience and leaves a lasting impact? Think about that. Until next time, keep diving.